Equitable services. The purpose of equitable services for non-public schools is to ensure that eligible students, teachers, and families in private schools receive federally funded educational services in a manner that is fair, equitable, and comparable to those provided in public schools. Communication obligations. Obligations should be communicated to private school officials in written form. To aid in this communication, you may use the template in the ALSDE Resources tab under Equitable Services. The communication should be in written form by U.S. mail, email, or website posting. Ongoing consultation process. Districts must maintain timely and meaningful consultation with private schools located within their boundaries and with schools outside the district that request participation in Title I, Part A, Equitable Services. Through consultation, districts and private schools collaboratively determine services to ensure timely, appropriate, and meaningful supplemental support for eligible students, teachers, and families. Because each school needs differ, services are not one size fits all. Districts must provide ongoing support throughout the school year by monitoring services, making adjustments when needed, and evaluating the impact of programs on student learning and outcomes. Title I funding eligibility begins by identifying private school students living in public school attendance areas served by Title I. Among these students, districts determine which families meet low-income criteria, and those students generate funding for services. Who receives services? Title I services may be provided to students living in a Title I attendance area who are failing or at risk of failing academic standards. Students are selected using multiple educational criteria, and low-income status is not required to receive services. Under Title II, Part A, if professional learning includes both religious and secular content, federal funds may only pay for secular, neutral, or non-ideological sessions. Private schools must provide documentation identifying the eligible sessions teachers attend. For example, if a teacher attends a conference where 6 of 8 hours are secular sessions, the LEA must use Title II, Part A funds to pay 75% of the registration and travel costs, based on the portion of time spent in allowable activities. Funds for private schools should be spent in the year they are obligated, but if not used, they generally carry over to the next year. If declined in writing, funds may be redistributed to other participating private schools or used for public school Title I services. With documentation uploaded into EGAP Alabama Grants Management System, with all funds being accounted for in Function Code 9200. This slide includes the mandatory documents required for participation in equitable services. These documents are the intent to participate, the Equitable Services Consultation Checklist, the Consolidated Equitable Services Plan, and the Title I, II, III, and IV Equitable Services Allocation Forms. All of these forms must be uploaded to EGAP. The non-public school needs assessment is optional. The timeline for equitable services includes specific months during which the local education agency should communicate with private schools. It also outlines the tasks to be completed each month. The only exception is that the LEA should continuously collect data from the private school throughout the school year. For questions on equitable services, you may contact the education specialist, Yolanda Averett, or the program administrator, Dr. Edward Williams.